1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, we're back. And we're going to be in sort of the rant zone. No, we're not in the rant zone. We're in the carefully proffered argument zone, in which I will describe to you what I believe is the true soloing concept in rock music. Now, incidentally, I don't know if you noticed that I played my theme song there, but I didn't mention to like and subscribe and send me an email. I want to be your music teacher, which is sort of what today's lessons is going to be about. Because I think that I've come to the conclusion that I am not particularly interested in trying to teach lead guitar on this channel beyond what I'm going to say in this lesson. Oh, stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned. So, so what I did in my intro there was I played the melody of my theme. Like and subscribe. Oh, where are we? Like and subscribe. Send me an email. Right? Like I was basically playing the melody of my song, and then I went. And then I did some sort of a Chuck Berry-esque bluesy thingy that I also was mixing in with a little bit of. Oh, here, let's give you the view on that. What was he doing there? I was going. I was making a chord, and then before that I was going, right, very Chuck Berry, or like that kind of thing. And then before I was using an octave, right? I was using my ring finger and my pointer finger to create an octave to play my melody. Okay, just so we're not so we know what's going on around here. So those are the ideas, and truly, I think that those three things. And they're not insignificant things, people. Those three things are basically the core of playing rock music and rock music lead guitar, okay? And I say this because, having been the diligent reader of many copies of Guitar Player Magazine and Guitar World, I know how many lessons and things are about modes. We must learn the modes, everybody. Hey, we've got to learn this incredibly technical exercise about concept X, whatever. To me, and I'm, I hope to not insult anybody by saying this, but the modes are just do, re, mi, with different colors. It's different colors of do, re, mi. So, if you're interested in learning music, you have to, you should probably learn how to play do, re, mi, right? Like, I kind of assume that you're learning do, re, mi. It's not a big deal. It's not a secret key that will unlock how to perform the type of music that you want to play. Okay? So I suppose, one of my basic suggestions is study the music that you are interested in. Study the notes. Do not look at the gear so much. Look at the notes that your favorite artists are playing. That is the real stuff. And it'll be derived from the major scale, presumably. But a lot of what I found for playing rock music was that it didn't necessarily have to do with this mode stuff. And in fact, when I did use modes, it was just like, go back to school, Brainiac. Like... It's a little, but I must say that I'm also very interested in jazz music, so I felt like I had to really investigate these things to the hilt. But if you're a rock musician, I don't know that it's that necessary. So what were these ideas again? Well, the idea was to play the melody, learn the melody of the song. That is easier said than done. It's much easier than learning to play the modes. I can assure you, to play a melody expressively. Very difficult. Much more difficult than learning a 3 notes per string shred figure. That the next video that you will see in YouTube is going to be about, inevitably. Learn to play the melody of the song that you're interested in. Okay? Now, what was the other thing that I said? I'd play the chords. Okay, so a lot of the time when we see people shredding or whatever, they're just playing the chords, really. So, like, now I'm not about to shred or anything, buddy, but you can imagine something like this, right? Okay, I'm really just playing a B, Okay, now if I put a bunch of delay and distortion on that might have sounded very shredderific to you, but as it stands, I'm just playing with my Ron Wood sound. Okay, Ronnie Wood from the Rolling Stones. And so, that didn't sound so fantabulous. It just sounded sort of like a guy, picking some notes. But I was just playing arpeggios there, okay? That's all that was. And I was playing the arpeggios, again, of my song. And so now what was the last thing that I said? You can play bluesy figures against things, okay? So, I think that I might just, if I was going to play against my... Right, I might just do something like that. And hey, look, in that case, I didn't care about chords or anything. Like, I just played D blues scale. That's all I did because the song rests on D. So I was just like, all right, I'll just play that, okay? Now, obviously, I've studied music a lot, and I know a lot of things about all this. But that is kind of what I'm getting at here, is that I want you to try to study some music stuff. Okay, and I don't know that learning, fingering patterns and things like that online from shredders or whoever, people who have cobbled together videos. I'm sorry, this is where I'm going to get enraged here because, full disclosure, everybody, because I've been putting up all these videos, I now see a ton of music lesson videos. And so I see all these things, and I see people with these carefully manicured videos. Where, presumably after, 37 takes, they've assembled their video. Now, that is not a person that I necessarily want to be taking a lesson from, someone who needed 36 takes to make their super shred lick lesson. And that is one thing that's interesting about in more broadly speaking. Now we're getting into things are getting broad now. To do with media literacy. It used to be that if a magician was on TV and there was a cut in what you were watching, it would be like, well, this could be anything. Of course, the airplane disappeared. There was a cut. This could be any time. When I see a cut in a lot of these music lessons, I kind of disengage a little bit because all of a sudden it doesn't feel like a music lesson to me. It just feels like someone who carefully manicured a bunch of stuff together, right? The musicians that I really respect are the ones who were able to perform live and were able to, shoot out their performance and their aura, their artistic vision. They were able to express that in a live way. That is what I'm interested in. That is, to me, what being a musician is about. Being a musician is not about carefully manicured content that features my sick shredding concept. Okay? And so these are the reasons why I don't really want to talk about lead guitar. Now, does that mean that I don't love talking about lead guitar? Guys, and gals, that's all I wanted to do was be a lead guitar player. So I have a lot to say about it, but I don't think this is the time or place I would like to address you personally if I'm going to talk about those things. But I will say that talking about rhythm guitar like I have been, that was a real project for me. That was a very difficult thing to find out the secrets of rhythm guitar. So that's what I'm trying to do with this, my channel here. Okay, everybody? So, sorry if you're out there carefully manicuring your videos. I kind of don't buy it, but that's okay. I'm not your target market anyways. But maybe it's something to think about, okay? If you're one of these music teachers out here, or musicians or whatever you consider yourself to be, YouTubers, maybe try to just do it a little bit like, I don't know, like the way I do it. I think that there's a little bit more reality to it. It feels like I'm witnessing a real musician and not a YouTube content creator. Okay, like and subscribe, everybody. I hope I didn't make everybody mad. If I did, please leave me a message. I'd be really curious to see and to read other people's thoughts about what I've just said here, because I think it is to do with our current musical landscape. And so that's just my opinion. Take it easy, everybody.